Ashton Genty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League. Yep. So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I said earlier.
He got hit behind the line of scrimmage. He got tackled in the end zone.
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing is, Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
When I think of the European Tour, these are the players I'm thinking of, right? So I understand why that they would be so frustrated by all this, but they also know that there are rules in place that, from a competitive standpoint, that if you're a member of this tour, like, you can't go join a rival tour. Like, there's rules. It's just like in any other business.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Green Bay area and the Philadelphia area, you would get on ABC normally.
Yes.
But they didn't have ABC, so they couldn't get it locally.
Yeah, it just, you have to ask the question, like, nobody wants to hear from Bob Iger during the Monday night game when 10 million people are blacked out from watching the game, and you not ask him about when the blackout's going to end.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome to another edition of the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone A. Johnson here as always, and as we come on the air today, live in the East Coast at 11:02 in the morning, breaking dawn and yawning, we have breaking news for you. It's not breaking like you didn't see it coming, but it's breaking that it's now official. The Cleveland Brownies have decided that their starting quarterback is going to be Bailey's. No, I'm just kidding with you. It's going to be Shedeur Sanders. Now, it's not based on merit. It's not based on earning it. It's not based on him being the best quarterback they got because we just don't know if he's any good. It's based on the fact that there's only 3 quarterbacks there. There's Bailey Zappi, who we all know cannot play. And then, of course, there's Dylan Gabriel, who we all know cannot play, who also has a concussion. And then there's Shedeur Sanders, and we don't know if he can or can't play. So if there was ever a reason to watch a Cleveland Brown Las Vegas Raider game Sunday at 4:05, now you've got the reason. That doesn't mean we're all going to turn it on and red zone it and go, oh, I'm putting away the Jets and Giants aside because I got to watch Shedeur Sanders because I'm not sure if Shedeur can play. And he's a 5th-round draft pick. It ain't like the dude got picked number 1 overall and this is going to be his first start ever and we're all vested in the outcome of the number 1 pick overall. This is a random 5th-round pick for the Cleveland Browns playing against the only other team in football that we could agree is probably worse than them offensively, and that is the Las Vegas Raiders. This game is what we like to call in the TV rating business a 0 share. Ain't nobody watching this game, even with Shedeur Sanders quarterbacking. It's one of those deals like, all right, I'm a red zone guy. I'll put on the old NFL ticket. I'll go red zone action, right? And I'll wait to see if Chris Hansen ever says, oh, let's go to Vegas because the Browns are driving.
Scott Hansen.
What?
Chris Hansen did something.
Chris Hansen, yeah.
No, Scott Hansen. Yeah.
One of them dudes catches predators. One of them gives us football scores.
Right. Scott gives us the football scores.
My apologies then. Yeah. I get the Hansons confused sometimes.
Chris was doing the Lord's work, but it was
Scott
tough.
Hansen.
Yeah, Scott.
Are they related? I don't know.
You know what?
They might be.
The cousins.
Right, whatever. Scott Hansen, Chris Hansen, the Hansen brothers.
Yeah.
Who the hell knows who we're talking about?
I'm sure they're cousins.
But I wonder if I have Red Zone on and the great Scott Hansen is doing his job there, if at any point he's going to be like, let's go to Vegas. Probably not, right? Like, is the ball ever going to get inside the 20 where we're like, alert, 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 red zone, red zone, red zone? So we'll see. But I think we could have more fun. And it'd be far more compelling and entertaining today. Now that it is official that the son of Deion Sanders, Uncle himself, is getting his first start in the NFL, which is, by the way, let's not poo-poo this. Like, good for him. Great accomplishment. I don't know if he can play, but he'll be able to tell his kids, oh, yeah, I started a game in the NFL. Now, it might only be one. It might be the only chance he's got. But I was jotting some notes down, as you can see in my handy-dandy pad here, as the news came across, it is now official that Shedeur Sanders is starting. I think we should fast forward, if we can, to Monday.
Okay.
All right? Or even Sunday night if you want, okay?
Okay.
If you're of that ilk. I've got the top 3 excuses people like Josina Anderson, Shannon Sharp, and other Shedeur Sanders apologists and stans will make if it doesn't go well.
Okay.
And I want to be clear about this. It may not, look, it's not going to go well. That doesn't mean by default it's his fault, right?
It doesn't. It does not.
Because there's a very good chance his wide receivers aren't getting open. They don't run the ball well. He's not being protected. All the things that come along with being a bad offense. But I know right now, people like the people I mentioned who think he's the second coming of, Tom Brady and can do no wrong on a football field, they are already preparing what the excuse is going to be when you have a performance like he gave us in the second half last week against the Ravens, which was 4 for 16 and less than 50 yards.
And a pick.
And it could have been a second pick and a fumble, which he did recover. That's bad football. So the small little sample size we've gotten, and I want to be clear, I'm willing to throw that into the garbage. Bad spot, weird situation. Okay, clean slate for this Sunday against a bad team, decent defense, bad overall team in the Raiders, okay?
Yep.
So I think we can have a little fun. What do you think the number one excuse will be when it doesn't go well for Shedeur Sanders?
Well, the number one is going to be, you mentioned it already.
Go ahead.
Man, he ain't have no blocking. That's what they're going to say. They had no blocking. Look, he was the kid was under siege.
Dylan Gabriel had the same blocking,
right.
But those people blame Dylan Gabriel.
Right.
If it doesn't go well for Shedeur, his offensive line sucks. That was not my number one. Not my number one at all.
Okay.
My number one was Kevin Stefanski hates him. He purposely put in plays that wouldn't work. I think that's going to be number one.
Okay, I buy that. By the way, I just want to say for the record, and I'm going to judge him based on how he plays, I do think Stefanski hates him.
I don't. He drafted him.
He didn't draft. The owner drafted him, and he did what he was
here
told.
nor there at this point. He's starting him. He has no choice but to start him. I agree with you on that. He still thinks Dylan Gabriel is going to be good. Let's be honest. Kevin Stefanski is getting fired at the end of this year.
Yes.
So I think number one, they blame Stefanski.
Okay.
Number two, some combination of what you're saying. You know, no protection, no talent on the team, that kind of stuff.
And I'm saying Shannon Sharp's going to say he's going to say it that way. He ain't have no blocking. Right. That's what
nobody blocked for him. Number three, and they've already gone down this road. Hasn't had enough time practicing with the number one. Even though he's going to have the entire week practicing with the number ones, it's still not enough time. No other quarterback in the history of the league has been asked to practice only 3 days with the number ones and had success, right? Because no matter how bad this goes, and I think it's going to go badly because what we did see out of Shedeur, and again, I'm giving him the grace for it's only a half of football, the dude holds on to the ball way too long. And even if your offensive line does a decent job, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi.
Ball should be gone.
The ball's got to get out by that last Mississippi.
Yep.
And if it doesn't, that doesn't mean the offensive line didn't do a good enough job. That means you were either gun shy, you didn't like what you saw, you weren't confident, whatever the case may be. So I saw a lot of that in his 16 attempts last week. The dude does not want to get rid of the ball unless it's a quick little 5-yard dump-off pass, which was my big argument against Shedeur Sanders. Even though he had a good college career, not a great one, a good one, the reality is that he didn't throw the ball down the field. They didn't ask him to. So everyone's talking about this legendary completion percentage at the collegiate level. He did not throw the ball down the field all that much. But I did think it was interesting, Tyrone. that folks that I'm friendly with in Cleveland told me literally about 20 minutes ago that the Cleveland Browns have a plan. And get this. When Shedeur Sanders, if and when Shedeur Sanders throws his first touchdown pass, if it happens against the Raiders, they're going to retire his number after the game.
So you're doing that because of the Colorado thing.
Much like Colorado, if Shedeur Sanders has a single touchdown in the game against the Raiders, Cleveland is preparing a parade, and they're going to have a pregame celebration next week, and they're going to retire his number. How about that?
I mean, that would be pretty special. Now, let's say by the 0.1% chance he throws, let's say 3 touchdown passes. Let's
keep smoking.
Right. Will you come in on Monday and do the Shedeur Sanders celebration?
The Selly?
Yeah, will you do that if somehow he goes out there and shocks the world, which I do not expect, will you give him credit via doing the Selly on Monday on the show?
I think if it's a performance that we can all agree upon was legit, I will do the whatever the heck.
Yeah, he holds up the Selly, holds up the watch, shows up the watch.
Yeah, sure. Okay. You got it. My pleasure.
No, so that way, I agree with you, but we have to leave the door open for him shocking the world against a bad Raiders team.
The door is open. Sure, why not? Real quick, I could squeeze this in now. Former Cleveland Browns star quarterback Bernie Kosar, who's not been well, needed a liver transplant. It's a crazy story, and why we always say on this show, you should be an organ donor. Unfortunately, a 21-year-old kid who is a diehard Cleveland Browns fan, shockingly, lost his life. Yeah. All right, and it was like a terrible accident or something happened, but he was an organ donor. So a Cleveland Browns fan, 21, saved Bernie Kosar's life, and by all accounts, the transplant went well. So congratulations to Bernie, and well done being an organ donor.
Let's play our game of buy or sell. It has been a season to remember for Drake May. As of right now, May and Matthew Stafford are the favorites to win the NFL's MVP. Who had that at the beginning of the year? You probably could go through 20 quarterbacks before you got to Drake May as predicting winning the MVP. After this season, buy or sell, we will think of Drake May as the best quarterback in the 2024 draft class. Is this buy or sell? He certainly wasn't going in.
All right, for those who don't know, we're talking May, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix. A lot of interest there, right? A lot of interest there as far as those QBs. He's going to be the best. I mean, this is a question I would normally just take the field, right? Because I'll assume that Jaden Daniels has been really good. While he's hurt now. Caleb Williams, he's getting better and better. I'm still not giving up hope on the other three here as far as Penix, McCarthy, and Nix, although I would certainly have May well above them. So I think for me, it's either Daniels, it's either Williams, it's either May. Isn't this recency bias? Last year we would have, it's Daniels. By far, it's Daniels. Now because he's hurt, hasn't had a good year, it's Drake May. I'll sell this just for the sake of it, Craig here, but I don't necessarily disagree.
Yeah, I'm going to sell. I got Jaden Daniels still. I can't go this far with Drake May. Maybe second best, but it's not even about taking the field. We're having recency bias here. Jaden Daniels, to me, will still be awesome. So next year for Daniels goes back ahead of Drake May.
Fantasy Sports Today. Friday, starting at 3 p.m. Only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyron Johnson here as well. I spent a lot of my time the last 24 hours thinking more and more about this ridiculous scandal with the New York Giants of the guys going to the WWE Raw event on Monday night. And Cam Scattaboo, getting into it with the wrestlers. All scripted, of course, but risking, maybe re-injuring the dislocated ankle, right? Yeah. And you have, Abdul Card, who's having a terrible rookie season out there and missing meetings. And it's a crazy thought. I know it, but it's my job to bring you these thoughts as they enter my mind. There is a solution for the New York Giants because, right now Giants fans are apoplectic,
Yeah.
which to me is such an overreaction to what happened Monday night. I think if you're a Giants fan, you should be much more upset that your prize rookie defensive lineman is sleeping through meetings and no one stopped that from happening, or sleeping through walkthroughs and nobody stopped that from happening, and he was never disciplined. To me, that's far worse than Cam Scatteraboo on an off night going to Raw and mixing it up a little bit. It ain't smart. It ain't a good look. But are we really going apoplectic about it? Sadly, a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
And it's the go-to. I'm just going to yell and scream. The sky is falling. Like, slow your roll. He's a 22-year-old kid who got a chance to be ringside at a WWE event. Should he have engaged? No. Should he be there? Yeah, who cares?
Oh, being there doesn't matter at all. Yeah.
But I've got the answer.
Okay.
Because it's clear to me that both Brian Dable, before he was fired, and Joe Shane, the general manager, who's still there, of the Giants, lost control at some level of the locker room.
Yeah.
And maybe they're not good disciplinarians. Not everybody is, right? Maybe they're not, dot every I, cross every T. Not everybody is, and that doesn't mean you can't be successful being a guy that's not a disciplinarian. We've seen a lot of evidence of that, right? But I do have the answer.
Okay.
And all these names that I hear bandied about from, pathetic, sad, angry, apoplectic Giants fans, none of them make sense to me. And you've seen the names that are out there. Whether it's Lane Kiffin or Matt Nagy.
Yeah, Matt Nagy, yeah.
Or, whatever. Some, also ran coach who failed and, was looking to get back to the NFL. Matt Patricia. I see a lot of names out there, right?
Yeah.
The most obvious name no one's talking about. And I'm trying to think if on one hand you have, I don't know, a 40-year Hall of Fame resume in multiple places. And on the other hand, you have 12 months of embarrassing yourself in the name of chasing Vijay.
Yes.
Does the 1 year where you got bamboozled, hoodwinked, had by Vijay, does that cancel out the 40 years of success?
Yes.
What?
Yes. Because he was bad his last 2 years in the NFL as well. You got to also couple that together.
He didn't have a quarterback. He didn't have any talent.
It's his
the draft
fault.
sucked. And by the way,
he picked on that quarterback.
Let him eat the last 2 years. I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah.
The Mac Jones Patriot years were terrible, and Bill Belichick lost his fastball. Fine. I'll give you that. Fine. I'll give you that. But he's still got the 40 years over here.
He does.
Of the greatest, winningest coach in the history of the NFL. Don Shula's got more wins. Belichick's got more wins that matter, right? And I'm saying to myself, and I say this because yesterday I saw that Bill Belichick went to a co-ed adult cheerleading competition because his girlfriend was participating in it, okay?
Yeah.
Just makes him a great boyfriend, is all it does.
That's what that does?
He's P-whipped, we know that. The Vijay's undefeated, we know that. And it's the only 20-year-old he's ever going to bang in his life, okay? Because most of them say, ew, yuck, you're 90 years old. I have no interest in your saggy balls, okay?
Okay.
That being said,
Yeah.
Isn't Bill Belichick the obvious answer for the New York Giants? What the Giants lack right now is discipline. What the Giants lack right now is a voice in the locker room that cannot be met with any other success, right? I didn't word that properly. What the Giants need beyond discipline is a voice in the locker room that shows up with rings on his fingers. A voice that, as much as you don't like, a dictator, as much as you don't like authority, as much as kids today, athletes say, like to push back on that, there's only one guy available that walks into that room and it's instant credibility. And to me, if I'm the New York Giants, and I know there's some rumors out there, maybe the relationship is soured. I don't buy those rumors at all. And I know he's embarrassed himself in North Carolina. They just got walked by Wake Forest last week, and they're not going to be 500 this year. And I know he's embarrassing himself with this ridiculously disgusting romance with a 22-year-old, however old she is, right? And I know he's embarrassing himself being at a co-ed adult cheerleading competition. I get all that. Guilty, 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 guilty. But over here in the corner is still the brightest, most successful head coach in the history of the NFL. And if we're going to start penalizing guys because they made bad decisions over a woman, then we should all just turn in our IDs right now because none of us can go to work. There's not a human being on the planet that's got a thing dangling between his legs that has not made bad decisions over a woman.
Yeah, but not like this. No. You can't bring this guy. He's making these mistakes in North Carolina.
Doesn't matter.
You're going to bring him to New York City. You're going to bring her to New York City and have her around Jackson Dart?
No.
What do you mean, no?
Because when he goes back to the NFL,
she's coming with him.
He goes back to being Bill Belichick.
No, he won't.
And right now, it's fun in North Carolina. Who cares? She's there. She's this. She's that. And Carolina has allowed it. If he goes back to the Giants, obviously she's moving with him. She ain't going to be on the sideline. She's not going to be standing on the 50-yard line right before a game because he's back to being Bill Belichick. Now, look, I don't like Bill Belichick. I don't. He and I were very close friends in Cleveland. We have no relationship anymore, and that's his fault, not mine. But all these other names, man, and just look around. Is there a single dude you know, I don't care how successful that guy is in his chosen field, that has not been stupid over a woman at some point in his life?
Yeah, their 20s, not in their 70s,
Doesn't
man.
matter.
Listen, I need $500.
Let me say why it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because whether you're 20 or you're 70, you still have testosterone coursing through that DNA of yours, and you're still a man. You're still a man. Bill Belichick is the obvious answer.
No.
Save him from North Carolina.
No.
Save him from Jordan Hudson and bring him home.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Oh boy, oh boy. This is not going to go away, folks. This betting scandal that involved Terry Rozier, that involved Jonte Porter last year, and then obviously with Chauncey Billups getting involved and stuff like that, this is not going away. This is not good. And this is not the end of this scandal.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Players behind the scenes have complained about Hurts's unwillingness to throw through tight windows against zone coverage. I told you Friday, Kevin, that Jalen Hurts takes the path of least resistance. He holds on to the ball. He doesn't like making those tighter throws. Though he loves making deeper throws, which it's interesting. Over 20 yards, he's one of the best in the National Football League.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all three Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Great to have you here. By the way, podcast exclusive, which will go up later this week. Vance Howard, multi-billionaire who just produced a great documentary on the life and times of Bum Phillips, the former Houston Oilers, New Orleans Saints head coach, called Love You Bum. And we got a glimpse of it this week, and it is awesome. And for those of you that love and like talking about old school NFL football from the 1970s, Vance put it together very, very well. We'll put that out as a podcast exclusive a little bit later on this week. And make sure you subscribe to and download the Craig Carton Show podcast. By the way, the great compiler. The great compiler.
Who's the great compiler?
Yeah. Who is the great compiler, Tyrone wants to know.
Cal Ripken did something last night?
No, not Cal Ripken.
Oh, okay.
Some people think he was a great compiler as well, that's usually a phrase in sports that is reserved for baseball players.
Yeah.
Like a guy hangs on long enough to get his 1,000th RBI, or maybe like his 400th home run or something like that.
Pete Rose's hit record, he's a player manager at that point to get the hits record.
Yes, but he did get it.
Almost 50, but
he did get it, and it was a single, if I'm not mistaken, to left center.
It was.
But no one ever thought of Pete as a compiler. No, you can make that point now. But don't me downstairs.
He was about 100 years old, still playing.
But Pete Rose was still batting like 350.
No, he wasn't at the end.
Yeah, sure he was.
He could still compile his bat average between home and first.
I guess he was betting on the under then. Okay, fine. So look, Pete Rose, no one ever thinks of Pete Rose as a compiler. If that's your take, I'm not going to argue with it. I'm not looking at his numbers for me to speak eloquently enough
fair
on whether or not at the end he was merely compiling. But there was a dude playing last night.
Right.
Which is why you got to take LeBron James' records with a bit of a grain of salt.
No, you don't.
Because as great as LeBron James has been as the 6th greatest player to ever play NBA basketball.
Disrespectful.
All right. He's still the greatest compiler of all time. He is, and I'll give him that. He's now played more seasons than anybody. He started his 23rd season. Only Vince Carter had gotten to 22.
Yep.
And he retired. That was that COVID year where the league got stopped mid-season.
Yeah.
But he did at least start. So Vince Carter's got 22 seasons in. And now LeBron James last night, his first game back from the Fugazi sciatica, having missed the first 14, played last night. By the way, looked good. Played well, didn't score for the first, 9 or 10 minutes in the game. And then that third quarter when they blew the Utah Jazz out, LeBron James had double-digit assists last night. And he looked good. He looked good. No issue at all. But he's a compiler. And the greatest compiler of all time kept compiling last night.
I can't believe you feel comfortable doing this. He's not a compiler.
I'm glad you said that.
He's not.
And this is how I can prove it, okay? If I'm going to just randomly pick 2 guys, okay?
Yeah.
LeBron James will be one of them.
Sure.
And I don't know, Reggie Miller.
Okay.
Hall of Famer, because that's why at least I'm going Hall of Fame to Hall of Fame. Fair enough?
Sure.
All right? LeBron James last night passed Reggie Miller for all-time three-point shots made.
He did.
There's no one on God's green earth that's going to say that LeBron James is a better three-point shooter than Reggie Miller. Is that fair?
He's made more.
Is that just answer the questions as I bring them to you. Is Reggie Miller or LeBron James the better three-point shooter?
Reggie Miller's the better three-point shooter.
Okay, and that no one's going to debate that.
Right.
Reggie Miller is one of the greatest three-point shooters in the history of basketball.
Yes.
I believe he was 7th going into last night. Hasn't played in...
he was 6th. Now he's 7th.
Okay, hasn't played in 10, 15 years, whatever it is, right? So this is my point. LeBron James is now higher up on the list of three-point shots made than one of the great three-point shooters in the history of basketball, Reggie Miller, right? So this is the point. When the career finally ends, whenever that might be, we're going to look at it and go, oh, LeBron James, a top 6 three-point shooter.
That's not going to get mentioned.
Of course it's going to get mentioned.
The points are going to get mentioned. The assists are going to get
mentioned.
The rebounds are going to be mentioned. Also,
hold on. Let's go there. I don't know if you have the list in front of you. Career-wise, where's LeBron James in rebounds?
In rebounds, he's not in the top 25 yet in rebounds.
Okay.
But he's top 5 in assists.
And he's not a great assist guy.
He's a great assist guy.
He's a compiler.
He's a great assist guy.
Jason Williams, White Chocolate, was a better dude addition than LeBron
not.
James.
No, he wasn't.
Charles Barkley, better addition.
No
Michael
way.
Jordan, better addition.
Yeah, and he is 20. He's top 25 in rebounds. Number 1 in points. He's 25. And he's 4 in assists.
That's my point.
This is hate.
He's not one of the great dishers of all time.
Jedi level hate.
He has now officially become the greatest compiler in NBA history. Because he's top 6 now in 3-point shots, and he's top 5 in assists. And at no point was he top 10 in either of those in any single season of his career.
Yes, he was.
Nonsense.
Yes, he was.
It's nonsense.
No, this is hate from Craig Carton. Hate from Craig Carton.
Keep compiling, LeBron. You're the best at that.
Let's play our game of buy or sell. It has been a season to remember for Drake May. As of right now, May and Matthew Stafford are the favorites to win the NFL's MVP. Who had that at the beginning of the year? You probably could go through 20 quarterbacks before you got to Drake May as predicting winning the MVP. After this season, buy or sell, we will think of Drake May as the best quarterback in the 2024 draft class. Is this buy or sell? He certainly wasn't going in.
All right, for those who don't know, we're talking May, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix. A lot of interest there, right? A lot of interest there as far as those QBs. He's going to be the best. I mean, this is a question I would normally just take the field, right? Because I'll assume that Jaden Daniels has been really good. While he's hurt now. Caleb Williams, he's getting better and better. I'm still not giving up hope on the other three here as far as Penix, McCarthy, and Nix, although I would certainly have May well above them. So I think for me, it's either Daniels, it's either Williams, it's either May. Isn't this recency bias? Last year we would have, it's Daniels. By far, it's Daniels. Now because he's hurt, hasn't had a good year, it's Drake May. I'll sell this just for the sake of it, Craig here, but I don't necessarily disagree.
Yeah, I'm going to sell. I got Jaden Daniels still. I can't go this far with Drake May. Maybe second best, but it's not even about taking the field. We're having recency bias here. Jaden Daniels, to me, will still be awesome. So next year for Daniels goes back ahead of Drake May.
Fantasy Sports Today. Friday, starting at 3 p.m. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson here, as always. More on the great compiler, I'm sure, as the days and weeks advance. And that sciatica hopefully doesn't act up again on LeBron James. But it's time now. We only do this twice a year. We do it right after the halfway point, and then we do it at the end of the season because doing it every week is boring, and I can't do it. But for the first time this year, we are revealing the official top 10 quarterback rankings in the NFL for this year, 2025-2026, okay? Now, The only caveat I need to give you about this list is that we have polled some of the greatest football minds in the country, and we just add up their votes.
Yeah.
And these are the results of the votes of 150 different football experts in this country from coast to coast, and it's kept completely anonymous.
That's very thorough.
All right?
Very thorough.
We have 5 voters in every NFL city.
Well, all
right? And then if there's a city that has a couple teams like New York does, like LA does, then we double the voters in that city.
There you go.
So to be fair, New Jersey, New York, that area had 10 voters. California had 10 voters. Yeah. Kansas City had 5 voters. All right? But it's totally anonymous. And the only caveat beyond that is it has nothing to do with your career success. It is this year and your performance this year and this year alone.
Okay.
Okay? Mm-hmm. We'll go 10 up to 1. All right, boys? The 10th best quarterback in the NFL right now is the starting quarterback of the Detroit Lions, Mr. Jared Goff. Now, let's be honest. They are not having the season they thought they were going to have.
They're not.
What are they, 6-4 right now?
Yep.
Okay. They're obviously knocking on the door of the playoffs. But Jared Goff thus far has thrown for 2,500 yards, 21 touchdowns, and only 4 interceptions. Their losses are not because Jared Goff is not having a good year, okay?
Except of the one against the Eagles, where against pressures, 14 pressures, which has always been his weakness, he was 0 for 12 with 2 sacks.
Okay.
And unfortunately, his weakness year one is still his weakness.
Yeah, and it's a lot of quarterbacks' weaknesses. Tom Brady, same thing. Get pressure on Tom, get pressure on Mahomes, and they don't play at the same level. All right, Jared Goff is number 10. Number 9, and these votes did come in prior to Sunday. They may have changed if they hadn't, but Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is your 9th best quarterback in football. Look, he just had a game in which he had 4 interceptions.
They were still in it.
But they have the ball with a minute to go and a chance to go tie the game or win the game. As bad as Sam Darnold was, Sam Darnold has had a great year thus far. His first year in Seattle, not a good year, a great year. 2,500 yards. And again, his TD to interception rate changed dramatically. He's 17-10 right now, but 4 of those came in one game.
One game.
All right, so Sam Darnold's number 9. Number 8, he's taken a few steps back the last few weeks, and that offense has. Baker Mayfield right now is the 8th best quarterback in all of football. He's at 2,300 yards. He's got 17 touchdowns and 3 picks.
Yeah.
So his touchdown to pick rate's great, but he has to have more touchdown passes. And the Tampa Bay offense has sputtered recently. Now, they're in a division they can't lose, so they're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to get another home field playoff game, and hopefully they get healthy by then because they've had a lot of injuries specifically to their wide receiver.
One thing with him is he's taken too many hits this time of year. You know he's a guy who's a lot of machismo. He's gotten too brave. I hope he makes it to the end of the season.
Number 7, and this is the worst he's appeared on anyone's list ever in his entire career, maybe other than his rookie season. And I know he just came off a great game with 6 touchdowns, 3 rushing, 3 passing this past weekend. Josh Allen, the reigning MVP, is 7th on our list. Just go look at the Buffalo Bills offense. They benched Keon Coleman this past week because he's not acting like a professional.
Yeah, misdemeanor.
And it was a healthy scratch, and they're tired of it. Josh Allen probably does more with less, but even he would tell you has not been great this year, and they need him to be great. Coming in at number 6, Dak Prescott. I know the Dallas Cowboys are still trying to get above 500, and that may not happen because they've been right at or below 500 by a game. But Dak Prescott is having a great year thus far. He's at 2,600 yards, 21 touchdowns, only 6 picks. He's not turning the ball over, and you could see they have gotten better defensively now. When you have Pickens and CeeDee Lamb on the field together, that's unstoppable. Do not sleep on the Dak Prescott Cowboys making a little run. They have the Eagles this weekend. So if they're going to make a run, it starts against Philly this weekend.
Yes, they have Philly and then the Chiefs. So these 2 games will decide their season
You'll
right
know
there.
everything you need to know about the Dallas Cowboys. It's a good point. Number 5, my guy, Lamar Action Jackson. Fully back from the hamstring, was terrible for 3.5 quarters against the Cleveland Browns. But when they needed a big play and a big score late in that game, somehow, some way he got it. And now that he's 3 weeks back from the hamstring and they've won 4 consecutive games, you're about to see MVP Lamar Jackson. But even with that, I'm being honest, and the voters coast to coast are being honest, Lamar Jackson right now, the 5th best quarterback in the NFL.
This is the lowest he's been on the list in quite a while as well, because overall hasn't been a great season so far for him.
And he's never been behind the guy that's at number 4. Coming in at number 4, a comeback player of the year for sure if he doesn't play another snap this year, former New York Giants quarterback, Mr. Daniel Jones. Say what you want about Danny Jones. The Colts are a potential 1 seed. It's them and the Patriots right now. And if you watch any Colts games, and I don't, but I watch them on Red Zone every time they're going in for a score, they're winning games because of Daniel Jones, not in spite of him. They also have a great running back, of course, Jonathan Taylor. But Daniel Jones is the man, and he is the 4th best quarterback in football today.
This is the first one where I'm going 15-7 as far as touchdowns to interceptions.
Yep.
He's handing the ball off in every important spot. I think you may look back at this one.
This is just 150 voters coast to coast that work for the Carton show.
There you
All right?
go. Yeah.
All right, that brings us to number 3. Now, you could argue this one, he should be higher maybe on some people's boards. But how can you argue that Drake May right now is not playing like a top 3 quarterback in the NFL? He's doing everything and then some. He's getting great coaching, obviously, both from McDaniels, the coordinator, and Mike Vrabel. And the Patriots offense is bludgeoning people.
Yeah.
They are putting their foot on people's necks and putting them out of their misery. The only caveat is they don't play anybody good. They will have 2 wins at the end of the season against teams over 500. But that's not his fault. He's balling out. Drake May's number 3.
He's currently the leader in completion percentage, yards, and most importantly, yards per attempt. He's somehow being super accurate while getting chunk plays. You can make an argument he should be first.
2,800 yards, 20 touchdowns, 5 picks. The numbers are MVP-esque, okay? Brings us to number 2. Number 2, 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 2,600 yards. Matthew Stafford, who is having an MVP quality season, and the reason the Rams right now are the number 1 seed in the NFC.
I mean, he's been tremendous.
Killing it.
You're talking about a guy who's 37 years old, had to deal with all those Lions years where he got just yards. This is his best season so far at 37, and he's back on track to perhaps set some records. And correct, he has his record over 500 after all those Lions years.
He's
it's
doing
unbelievable.
Great. He is. He might be the best quarterback, but on this list, he's number 2.
Yeah.
Which means that there's a chance that Patrick Mahomes is not on this list. There's a chance right now that Jordan Love's not on this list. Jackson Dart's not on this list. A lot of good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Some of them are going to get left out because there's only 1 spot left. And the number 1 quarterback right now on this list is a guy that is currently completing 67% of his passes. He has thrown for just under 2,000 yards. He has only thrown 1 interception.
1 interception all
the
year.
entire year, and he's got 16 passing touchdowns to go along with a boatload of rushing touchdowns as well.
Yes.
The number 1 quarterback in the NFL today, according to 150 NFL experts,
That's right.
is the embattled current Super Bowl MVP, Mr. Jalen Hurts, everybody.
That's what I'm talking about out there. When you get the experts involved and you cut out people like our producer Ethan and people like that, the haters, and you just go to the football people.
That's it.
It's a clear answer.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts is number 1.
When they trust him to throw it, he throws it well.
That's right.
He doesn't turn it over. He's the complete quarterback. Jalen Hurts, number 1.
It's almost like betting the stock market. The good part about it is you can take a bet today. In 2 or 3 days, if you nail that bet, you can be able to cash out, Joe. Like you just hit a heavy stock. Like you go into Sun Microsystems or whatever it's called, and you buy into it. In 3 days, you can sell it for a massive profit. Do you understand these markets, Joe?
I do understand the markets. It's amazing how some of the predictive markets seem to have the answers before the test.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
8 3-minute rounds. The gloves are 10 ounces. And Anthony Joshua weighs like 250 pounds. So I'm not really sure how this is going to end up happening. But this is one of those. Normally, I don't give credit to the Paul brothers. And, I give them credit for being great on social media and creating a lot of buzz for the sport. I give him credit for getting in the round with Anthony Joshua. This is not like a Mike Tyson fight when Tyson's 60 years old.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Travion Henderson and a few others have the Pats at 9-2. Is excellence back in New England, Joe?
Excellence is back in a big way. Mike Vrabel came back into town. Drake May has come out of his shell, and Travion Henderson has come out of, I don't know where he was. He was in obscurity, but he had 3 touchdowns on Thursday night.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Let's take a look at a couple of narratives here and play a good game of fade or not fade. And first up, well, the idea that the Chiefs are going to put it all together and win the AFC West, well, that's That's absolutely gone. Absolute fade from this point on, Donnie, with the Chiefs. Their 10-year reign is over. It's done with.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone A. Johnson here as well. Some news and notes from the world of sports, and then later on we'll get to our weekly Power 5 rankings in the NFL that's coming up. But first, there was a story. This is becoming all too prevalent now, where athletes are playing a game. Well, it doesn't matter the sport, but they're on the field of play, and their homes are being burglarized.
Yep.
You know what happened in the NFL last year a bunch of times.
Yeah, Joe Burrow.
Yep. Yeah. Some NBA guys have had it happen to them. Well, no joke. I guess it happened to Shedeur Sanders.
And a couple other players, less known than Shedeur.
Yeah, so the Cleveland Browns obviously were playing on Sunday, and while they're at the game, people know the house is empty. It's not hard to find out where celebrities live these days. Mm-hmm. And a crew goes in. They don't care about the alarm. They're in, they're out. They know there's nobody home. So apparently they stole $200,000 worth of stuff from his house. And then the story, the follow-up to the story was, it turns out it was actually a lunatic fan that went into his house and stole $200,000 worth of stuff. Now, one of the first mugshots that came out is not accurate. It's not the actual person who went into the house, but because they acknowledged that it was a fan of his, they wanted some of his memorabilia. This was the first picture they put out. You guys have that? Yeah. Not her, though. It was not
Josina.
No, it was not.
That's good.
Who is already writing excuses for why the game against the Raiders is not going to go well for Shedeur. Then for you inbreds at Virginia Tech who hate my guts right now, and I can't even go on Twitter these days because it's nothing but Virginia Tech clutter. It'll die down because they all share the same power cord. So at some point, the computers will run out of power.
One power cord, the whole fan base.
They share one. There's your guy. There's the new head coach of Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Nice right there. James Franklin.
Fans lined up to cheerleaders there.
Look at that. Not
That's
surprised
cool.
that those people don't have jobs and in the middle of a workday can show up at a private airport and cheer on a guy through a fence that's not going to win 10 games next year. But, hey, look, if that makes you happy, I'm not a dream killer. God bless you. I hope he's successful. I hope you can look back and just attack me for years to come because James Franklin's successful.
You say you're not a dream killer. Years ago when I brought up my Reddespoon idea, you hated it. You killed the dream.
Yeah, because no one wants to use other people's spoons. I told you that.
All right.
Tyrone thought that people would want to rent spoons.
Rent a spoon, like you come in,
Anyway, then, people sleep on the Detroit Pistons still.
They do. They're good.
And because, they're not on TV all that much. I get it. But Cade Cunningham is proving to everybody that he was the best player in that draft. He is a bona fide baller. Matter of fact, he announced the other day on the boardroom with Kevin Durant that he's getting his own signature sneaker, which is really like the making of a superstar. Mm-hmm. Not every player has their own sneaker. A lot of players have deals with
Tons
Nike, New Balance, Adidas, whatever, Under Armour, right? But not everyone has their sneaker. So Cade Cunningham's finally gotten to that level where he's getting his own kick, which is awesome, right?
Yeah.
He was playing last night. The Detroit Pistons, by the way, are like 10-2.
I think 11.
They got the best record in basketball.
Yeah.
And let's take a look at Cade Cunningham right there.
Oh, it's Cade.
Yeah.
Kinda. Huh.
Yeah. Look at. No. Try to look to your right. Try to just.
There's no right side to that picture. I only see a left side.
That's Cade Cunningham.
I didn't see Cade there. Is Cade in that picture? I didn't see Cade.
Don't look at the nails. Don't look at the painted nails. Look to the right. That's one of the.
See, my monitor's messed up. There's no right on mine.
What do you think?
It's just the left side.
One of the 20 best players in the league today?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I'd say 10.
He's definitely one of the 20.
But I think he's between 11 and 20.
Yes.
Cade Cunningham.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I wonder what kind of student was he? Was he a D student, a double D student? I don't know what kind of student he was. I'm pretty
sure he was a double D student.
Yep, in school. That's why he left early. Yep, double D student.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, we confirmed it. We just confirmed it. Cade Cunningham was a
double D student. We checked the transcript.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's happening at Pistons games nowadays. I got to get out to Detroit. I got to get out there.
Yeah, we're going to Auburn Hills together. Earlier in the show, I did mention that Bill Belichick, who I think should be the obvious choice for the New York Giants. I don't know why we're dicking around with it. Just go get the deal done. But for those of you who think I was lying about him going to a co-ed adult cheerleading competition, I just want to prove to you that he did go. If you guys can put that up real quick. He's there. You can see him in the back. That's called undefeated. That's what it is. Like, you're Bill effing Belichick. I know you want to support your woman. I get all that. I do. I appreciate it. But can you start being Bill Belichick again? Why? It's sad what's happened to him.
And why is she there?
Well, she's participating.
Why?
She's in it.
Why?
Because you know how
I know she's in it.
You know how you're very wealthy. Your wife doesn't have to work.
No,
but she
my
has
wife got to work.
But
no, she's got to work.
Self-respect gets her out of bed in the morning, and she likes to have something to do. And she takes great pride in her job as a project manager, right?
Yes.
She don't have to do it, but she does it. So Jordan Hudson can just sit there and put her ankles up in the air and wait for Bill to get home. Sure, but she enjoys cheerleading. So she does it. Same thing.
But and a lot of times these things are late at night, so this is probably 10 p.m. because you got to get a gym available for her to do co-ed cheerleading.
Co-ed adult cheerleading.
What are they cheering for?
Which makes it interesting that he would go there since I don't know.
What are they cheering for? Are they going to do a competition? Yeah. Is she doing the flips? Is she at the top of the pyramid?
I don't know.
A man that age should not be in that event unless it's his great-granddaughter.
But he should have picked her up in a social studies class? That made more sense.
She picked him up. She gave him the textbook. She picked him up. He could have said no. But you can't. You only, if you're in your 70s, you can only be in anything cheerleading if your granddaughter to great-granddaughter's there.
I agree with you.
He can't be there.
Which is why I think he needs to start being Bill Belichick again to get his ass back to New York.
All right.
And then the list of first-time eligible baseball players for the Hall of Fame, no disrespect to these, 12 or so guys, might be the single worst list in the history of Cooperstown.
It may be.
None of them are getting in. Ryan Braun, Cole Hamels, Alex Gordon, Shin Soo Choo, Edwin Encarnacion, Hunter Pence, Matt Kemp, Rick Porcello, who lives out by me, Daniel Murphy, Howie Kendrick, Nick Markakis, and Gio Gonzalez.
Yeah.
There ain't a Hall of Famer on that list.
No, I agree. I think two guys total stay on the ballot. Cole Hamels and maybe Encarnacion because of the number of home runs.
I don't know. And I'm one of these guys, I don't think we have to put dudes in the Hall of Fame every year. Like, if there's no one that warrants being in, no ceremony this year.
That's happened.
That's how I would do it.
This could be the year A-Rod gets in, though. This is the void.
A-Rod should get in, but these guys don't belong in the Hall of Fame. So let's just cancel the celebration till we have guys that do belong in the Hall of Fame. Power 5 next. Don't touch it.
Goff and Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson here as well. Looks like there's blood in the water in Kansas City. It all started with me and this show, but now like every lazy Tom, Dick, and Harry with a talk show, a TV show, a radio show, a podcast is now finally coming around to the fact that Patrick Mahomes is not playing at a Patrick Mahomes level, and that's a reality. And the Kansas City Chiefs are a team that's living on really history only. Like they don't scare anybody anymore because they're predictable. He's not hitting the deep ball, which he hasn't done in years now. They don't run the ball at all. They're not committed to the run. And I was just looking at the top AFC teams because obviously I'm known, I guess, coast to coast as the most handsome anti-KC guy in the land. And I own that. I am quite handsome.
The most handsome?
Yeah, the most handsome of all the Chiefs haters.
Okay.
I got voted most handsome.
All right, well,
that's my lot in life. What do you want me to do?
Prestigious.
It's like me and Ryan Gosling.
Well,
that's the way it is.
Okay.
Just good-looking dudes who hate the Kansas City Chiefs and really their fans and their obnoxiousness and all the nonsense, right? Yeah. In any event, I was just thinking, like, would you take Patrick Mahomes today over Lamar Jackson today? Probably not. Would you take him over Daniel Jones? Probably not. Would you take him over Justin Herbert? Probably not. Would you take him over Josh Allen? I'm talking in a playoff game. Probably not. Would you take him over Tua? Probably not. Would you take him? I mean, and I could go on and on and on.
Wait a minute.
Look, the Dolphins are going to be 8-7. Don't sleep on Tua. And I think Tua stinks, but the way Tua's playing right now, he's playing better than Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is like the problem right now in Kansas City. And you know why? It's the Rocky Balboa disease. Sometimes too much success, and you stop doing all the stuff you used to do. Now you're trying to you're kind of bribing announcers by inviting them to your steakhouse so that business can be successful. And you're painting with your wife instead of looking at playbooks, right? You're gallivanting all over town.
He has a lot of children now, too.
It's the Rocky Balboa syndrome, man. Yeah. Rocky got soft.
He did.
Right?
He did.
And he had to get that eye of the tiger back. So I think the same thing's happening with Kansas City.
Is Mahomes' best friend going to have to perish in the ring to get the fire back? Because that's what happened with Rocky.
He dies. Yeah.
That's how I had to go.
Yes. So just keep an eye on that, because as you turn on the TV in your favorite sports talk radio stations or podcasts, what I've been saying all year is now being parroted by everybody else like they woke up with a unique thought. And here's the difference between me and this show, and if I dare say, every other show. It's called work ethic. It's called giving a damn. It's called having a plan and spending all day, every day thinking about what would make tomorrow's show great.
Yeah.
Everyone else is lazy. They rest on their laurels. They just show up and they hope that I've done their work for them with a genius take that they then copy and parrot on their own shows without giving me any of the credit that I richly deserve. Watch. I'm going to give you my Power 5 now. It'll be copied later today. Number 5. 5 best team in the NFL. 5th best team in the NFL. Your Philadelphia Eagles.
A little low.
Not loving the offense right now.
Fair.
I think they need a new offensive coordinator.
They may.
And all of a sudden, the Eagles defense might be the best defense in all football. Don't sleep on them. Okay. Number 4. Well, look, I think they've got the second best quarterback in all football right now, and that's Matthew Stafford. The Rams are legit. They've got the Super Bowl pedigree. They've got the wide receiver. They've got the coach. They've got the quarterback. They've got a running game now. The Rams right now are the 4th best team in all football. Number 3, I got to go AFC 3-1. I think the AFC is better than the NFC right now. And until someone proves me wrong, I'm heavy on the AFC. The Indianapolis Colts, 2nd best record in the AFC, are your 3rd best team. Your 2nd best team is the team that right now, along with the Denver Broncos, look like the only 2 teams that are going to battle for the number 1 overall seed. You've got the Broncos, who I think are really kind of paper tigers right now, because of how they've won a lot of their games with last-second field goals, and they don't dominate anyone. The Patriots, to be fair, have had the easiest schedule in the NFL, but they dominate.
They do.
So right now, the New England Patriots are your second-best team in football, and I want to be clear, it's a little shaky because of who they've played. All right, their schedule has produced a juggernaut, but if you win, you win. The number one team right now in the NFL, and it cannot be argued, the Baltimore Ravens.
What? It can be argued.
The Baltimore Ravens.
You've made it to where we don't have time to argue.
No, it can't
but
be argued.
It can be argued.
4 straight wins. I know that the Broncos have 8. I know New England's got 7 as well.
They were terrible against the Browns.
4 straight wins. They've gotten to 500. The Steelers have an Aaron Rodgers broken wrist situation, not his throwing hand, but still a situation, and they're not very good. I know they blew the Bengals out, but the Baltimore Ravens, and I said it at 1-5.
You did.
Other people get on this wagon now, are going to win out. And they can't get the 1 seed, but the Baltimore Ravens will win their division. They'll have a single home playoff game, and they'll be the team that everyone says, you don't want the Baltimore Ravens this week, because the Baltimore Ravens are the best team in the NFL. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.